Hey everybody, what's going on? Bahroo here, back again with another Borderlands, the pre-sequel video. And today we're going to be continuing our pre-sequel endgame skill trees, and today we're going to be looking at Claptrap the Fragtrap. Sorry for the slight delay on these videos, had a couple issues pop up, but anyway, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the potential endgame skill trees that I think are going to be extremely effective. I got to play these at PAX, and I have a good idea of how all of these skills are going to work in tandem with each other. Now, obviously, there are a variety of different ways you can play the class, but this is the way that I feel might be the most effective. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the Boom Trap skill tree. To start off, we've got Drop the Hammer. Reloading your weapon increases your fire rate and reload speed, but makes your accuracy worse for a few seconds. A few seconds is typically 10 to 15 seconds. Now the fire rate and reload speed are very nice, which is why we want to pick this up, which is a lot better than the Killbot, which will ruin my shield recharge, which can mess with a few skills later down the line. So what we have here is the fire rate increase, but the accuracy decrease really is not noticeable. Anyone who has played as Gauge can tell you 10% accuracy loss is next to nothing. You won't notice this if you're aiming down sights, and even hip firing, you won't have a noticeable difference. So, pretty much just a full buff here. Next, we have Coincidental Combustion. Whenever you shoot an enemy with a non-explosive weapon, you have a chance of dealing explosive damage based on your weapon's damage. Now, the extra damage increase is probably going to be similar to Borderlands 2 when they use Malawan and Torg weapons, the actual percentages for each of the weapon types, but I'll go over that when we actually get into the full game and I can confirm those, but you can probably expect that it's going to be somewhere around 50% for most guns, as it is in Borderlands 2 for their additional splash damage. Another thing is that this entire skill tree is completely based off elemental weaponry. You do not want to use any explosive weapons at all, despite the fact that there is a skill that increases your explosive damage, which is called Load and Splode. However, the Coincidental Combustion really will not work well with it if you attempt to use explosive guns, which is why we're going to be focusing on the elemental side. So anyway, for the next skill we have is Second Wind by TDR. When you enter Fight for Your Life, you throw a Digistruct copy of yourself, which explodes like a grenade, and you continually emit explosive novas. This skill was actually really good in the gameplay, which was kind of astounding considering that most skills like this kind of suffer in damage, but this one took out very large chunks of badass health, as well as the Nova itself doing a fairly good amount of damage. Another good thing about this is that it does trigger it the moment you touch down, so there's a good chance that even if your fight for your life is very short, there's a good chance that this might actually bring you back up very quickly. So that is kind of nice. Going down to the next tier, we have Load and Splode, as I talked about. Whenever you reload your gun, gain increased explosive damage. This bonus can stack up to 5 times, and each stack only lasts for a few seconds. A few seconds again being 10 seconds, and every time you reload, it will refresh itself. Unless you're using a very high magazine weapon, you're really not going to have too many issues. Even with a bandit shotgun, I was still able to empty my entire magazine and reload in time to keep my load and splode up. So as long as you're firing quickly, you shouldn't have too many issues dropping this. And worst case scenario, if you do end up about to lose it, just quickly reload your gun and you'll be fine. Now, the explosive damage is 20% per stack, so if you've got 5 stacks rolling, you're doing an 100% increased explosive damage. This does affect your Second Wind by TDR. In fact, this explosive damage affects all explosive damage, including the butt slam, butt stomp, nova drop, gravity, whatever it's going to end up being called. They've changed it 7 times now, it's whatever. We'll just roll with it. It's the thing that does the damage when you hit the ground. But this will buff your Coincidental Combustion damage by 100%, so instead of doing the 50%, you'll do 100%, and, 80, 160, all that good stuff. So just make sure that your Load and Splode is always stacked to 5. Even if you don't have enemies, just shoot once, reload your gun, you're good to go. Now, I Am Rubber, You Are Glue is kind of a nice survivability package. It makes a 25% chance that bullets will ricochet off of you, but you also get the Torg Fiesta action package. Now, this is a really nice kill skill with the bullet ricochet chance, but I really was not a fan of the Torque Fiesta. The grenades that were dropping all over the place were kind of a distraction, bumping me around, especially in low grav areas. Then you're going to have an issue with the grenades just kind of knocking you all about. It will also knock the enemies around a bit, but I just didn't like it because I like having full control over the battlefield. Next off, we have Start with a Bang. When firing a fully loaded gun after reloading, you generate an explosive nova centered on you, damaging all nearby enemies and hurts you, but only a little bit. Now, the damage from this is actually really nice, especially considering that Load and Splode will give it 100% more damage. But the damage to yourself was just more annoying than anything else. It was stopping my shield regen, which I didn't want to happen because there is a skill that requires a fully recharged shield before it can take effect again. So anything that self-harms me, I kind of went out of my way to avoid. But as far as damage, if you want to pick this up, go for it. It is not a bad skill. Next, we have Hyperion Punch. The melee override was, again, this is a good damage, but I just didn't find it to be that effective. Because I didn't really kill too many enemies with, I didn't find myself in melee range of enemies all that often. So another good skill, just does not really fit my personal playstyle. Definitely a good skill that you want to pick up though. Next we have one last thing. This is Money Shot, baby. The last round fired from any weapons clip gains a significant bonus damage. Notice that says bonus damage, which means it's going to be multiplicative. Smaller clips reduce the bonus. This is Money Shot. Through and through. It works exactly in the same way. The last shot's 400%, and the clip size is 8. Don't know if they actually fixed the math on this one, but it hurts a lot. You want it. Get it. This thing is killer with shotguns, especially the good old Jacob's Quad. Fire that thing twice, the second shot, it's going to really hurt. And then our capstone's going to be Living Near the Edge. Increase your fire rate and reload speed whenever you gain low health and shields. The greater the bonus, the less shield you have and the less health you have, the greater the bonus. But the main part that we want from this is unlocks the action package Pirate Ship mode. Now the fire rate and reload speed can go up to 100%, which is awesome, which means if your shield is completely depleted, you will get half of that bonus, so 50% fire rate and 50% reload speed when your shield is depleted. And then you have the awesome pirate ship with cannons. The pirate ship does a borderline stupid amount of damage. It can one-shot badasses at times, depending on where in the fanfare it is, because it goes along with the music. When you actually experience this, you're just going to have a ton of fun with it. It can be a little tricky to aim because you have to go with the music for aiming. You don't actually get to fire it yourself, so you will have to make sure that everything that you know when the cannons are going to fire. This is kind of one of those skills that you have to really get used to before you can truly master it. So anyway, that's going to be our Boom Trap skill tree. Now let's going to go ahead and take a look at the I Love You guys. Now the Best Buds for Life is kind of a nice skill, but I didn't really find it necessary considering I wasn't down for more than a second in most cases due to the second win by Tedior having 100% extra damage. So the extra downtime and gun damage and resistance really didn't shine all that well. But first off, we've got Maniacal Laughter. This skill, as we went over when I brought the I Love You Guys skill tree overlook, is just as crazy as I thought it was going to be. I managed to stack this skill up to its maximum stacks within a couple of seconds. For some reason, the stacks go up extremely fast, and the health regeneration makes it very hard for you to go down as long as you're keeping your stacks up. And the way that Maniacal Laughter works, even though each stack is lost after a few seconds, it's not in the same way as to other skills. Every couple of seconds, Claptrap will actually do a Maniacal Laughter and lose a good chunk of your stacks. So you're gonna be constantly losing them, even if you keep your dots up. So you're gonna need to make sure that you're putting your dots on as many enemies as possible. And another reason that we focus on mostly elemental guns. This will work with cryo, fire, incendiary, corrosive, all that stuff. It will work. Any elemental gun will help you stack Maniacal Laughter. So next thing we have is All Things Are Awesome. Increase the fire rate, weapon swap speed, and max health. This bonus is increased for every teammate you have on your team. So Just a good flat buff that we have here. The fire rate and the weapon swap speed are nice. The maximum health is also good, considering that a lot of our healing is percentage based. And then we've got some additional bonuses if we have our teammates with us. For the other two skills that we decided to not pick up, we have kick 'em while he's down. I decided to not go into this because the clap in a box, while is very strong, doesn't really... I don't like losing control of my character, which is ironic considering I'm playing Claptrap and he makes you just go crazy now and then, but still. The clap in the box is very strong. I just didn't like the slow movement speed. If I find a way to kind of increase the movement speed on that, then it'll definitely be good. Not a bad action package to have. Next is Through Thick and Thin. This one is kind of lackluster. Increases your action skill cooldown rate. Not really noticeable. It's kind of just like any other proficiency relic. However, if you are with teammates, this will transfer to your other team. So you're going to have to just kind of decide, what do you want for your team? Do you want to give yourself more damage, or do you want to help their action skills cool down? Next we have You're Going to Love Me. Killing an enemy creates a friendship nova centered on the enemy, healing you and your friends in the radius. Allies who are on low health will be healed for more. Also unlocks Gun Wizard. The Gun Wizard fire rate increase is close to 400%. So it's pretty obvious that you're going to want this skill. It will definitely help you for burning down badasses, bosses, and just in general shooting a lot of bullets very quickly. And this will also transfer to, again, all of your teammates, so you don't have to worry too much about leaving your teammates out on that fun action. Now, the Friendship Nova will heal you for up to 50% of your health. On average, it'll heal you for about 5% per enemy. You'll really only get that 15% if you're near death. But with Maniacal Laughter in this, you're really not ever going to be that close to death. So for our next skill we have, it's a trap card. When your shield becomes completely depleted, you release a Mega Nova centered on yourself that heals you and your friends but hurts enemies. Targets low health, again, are healed for more. Your shield must fully recharge between Mega Novas. So this is the skill that I was talking about, that you need to get your full shield recharge before you can attempt to do it again. So this is why I decided to not go into Killbot or start with a bang. A good cooperative skill to have, help heal your teammates and hurt some enemies. Then we have Wax On, Wax Off. I just put 4 points into this to give me some increased shield capacity and recharge rate and all that good stuff to help me get It's a Trap card again and again. Then we go into Pain Simulator is Painful. Increase your max health and give a small amount of damage reduction. The maximum health, again, is good because all of your skills that you're using to regen your health are all percentage based. So you want to use as much max health, or get as much max health as possible, and the damage reduction is actually kind of noticeable, so that's nice to have. The next two skills I didn't really find were that necessary. Organized Guns are happy. Increase your mag size by 5% per skill point, and increase the teammate mag size. Again, I didn't really find this that useful. However, it may be good for if you decide to go into triple clocked and you have the one-shot wonder buff. Then when you have Kick 'em while he's up, whenever you gain a second wind, gun damage and melee damage and the critical hit damage are increased for a few seconds. Now, a fun fact is that it's not really worth it to go into this skill anyway, because whenever you gain a second wind in general, you don't even need to be spec'd into anything. Whenever you gain a second wind, you gain 50% gun damage for 10 seconds upon achieving a second wind passively. That's on all characters, so I didn't really find a need to waste skill points to spec into something that I'm already getting. It will make you a little bit stronger, but I had a hard time going down as Claptrap to begin with because of all of his healing. And then finally we have High Five Guys. Whenever you hold your melee down, you'll request a high five from your friends. If they give you a high five because they're awesome, your gun damage, fire rate, and health regeneration will go up, and so will theirs. They'll get 15% gun damage, 50% fire rate, and 3% of their maximum health per second. If they don't give you a high five, only you will get the buff. So if you're a solo player, you'll still get the full effect of this buff. In fact, I know a lot of people have been saying that this skill tree is very multiplayer centered, but can't really provide solo play. This is not true. The only skill is All Things Are Awesome, and that's the only one that doesn't get the full effect when not in multiplayer. Every other skill will do just fine, so you won't have to worry about that. And that'll clear up the I love you guys. And then finally, for our last 3 points, I throw it into Fuzzy Logic. Taking damage from an enemy grants you increased damage for increased critical hit damage for a few seconds. You're gonna be taking damage because you're gonna be just in the fray at all times. So fuzzy logic is kind of nice for that extra critical hit damage. So why not? I didn't go into all the guns because I didn't want to for it to choose a weapon type that I didn't have on me. As far as min-maxing, if that's something you want to do, then you can go into all the guns, put a point in here. This will give you gun damage increased by 25%, 20% fire rate, and 20% reload speed. But you lose damage if you use the wrong type of gun during that subroutine. So I didn't really find it that effective, considering I might be using what I consider currently effective for what I'm fighting, and then it decides to give me a sniper rifle, and I'm already at point blank range. I just didn't like that whole that feel to it. But if you're at medium range, all the guns isn't that bad. Anyway, guys, this is going to be my Claptrap skill tree. Let me know in the comment section below what skill or what class you would like to see next. Wilhelm or Nisha. What is it? I don't know if it's Nisha or Nisha. Either way, let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be releasing a couple more pre-sequel videos throughout the next few weeks as we get closer and closer to the pre-sequel's launch. I hope you all will join me on YouTube as well I cannot words today, as well as on Twitch TV. Again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for future content, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.